Hello and welcome to another episode of Poolzcast AMA. Welcome, Rik, to this AMA from the WorkX team.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Awesome. Please introduce yourself a bit to the audience of Pools and tell us a bit about the role you have in WorkX.
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. My name is Rik and I'm the co-founder of WorkX. WorkX is a project that I myself am working on for already 7 years, and together with my CTO already 5-6 years. Before we start, I'll give you a short intro about where we come from, and I think it helps to understand our journey a bit more. I think most crypto projects you see, they are really young, fresh ideas that come to fruition very quickly. In our case, we've been working on it for a very long time. It has been my personal life work, and I think it's good to know why we started this as a start. So when I was in university here in the Netherlands, I studied economics and digital marketing, and I was really interested in the HR market because my father owned back then an executive search company. So I saw how he did his work and what of a human job that remained to be really. I was more into tech with buying Bitcoins in 2012 and also losing them on Mt. Gox, very great lesson as well. But I was more into tech, and I was thinking of what kind of digitalization will happen in this industry, because for the last few years, I haven't really seen it. It remained to be a very human job where the expertise, the experience and intuition of a person in the recruitment process remains to be very dominant, which I think is understandable. But at the same time, we see platforms like UpWork, Fiverr, Indeed come up and completely taking over the industry. Well, not completely, but mostly in the jobs that are a bit more low level initially. So, but I think you will see that increase over years more and more. And I will explain you why I think that. It's mostly because I think we get better at measuring the skills of employees, meaning that we get better means to see how people are excelling in their job, what are the important KPIs to do so. And if we have that insight, and we have also the networks with everybody who's nowadays online, it's much easier to make the connection between companies and people using technology rather than people. But yeah, would love to explain a bit more about this, but I also won't hijack all your questions. So please.
No,
go ahead.
Great to know. It's good to know that it's an idea that's been around, and it's not, as you said, just a fresh idea. There's actually a product behind it. Now, tell us a bit more about WorkX, the platform, and what is the unique selling point?
Yeah, so first of all, WorkX is a decentralized job economy where we match companies and people, whether they are freelancers or full-time job applicants, peer-to-peer, meaning that we only ask companies to pay for the cost of running that job posting, rather than asking a commercial fee that can run up to 30 to 40% like the existing commercial platforms. So in order to do this, we obviously need blockchain solutions. I'll dive into that later a bit more. But first I'll touch the unique selling points and kind of differentiate a bit with the existing competitors in Web3. We see most Web3 job boards to be really focused at Web3 jobs, which is great because we work with a lot of people in this space. We are a growing space, but at the same time, it is still very immature. Like there's only 1,000 job positions open right now across the entire space, which is very hard for new startups to scale with. So this is not the main reason, but it was one of the problems that I walked into when I was doing this when I was writing my white paper back then. So I had the luxury of being able to be connected with C-level people for the companies that my father worked with, which was for me a great lesson to really learn about what the actual challenges are of Web2 and more TradFi companies. And I got the idea of creating this solution that benefits from blockchain technology by being therefore very efficient, but at the same time building something that at the forefront isn't any different to what people are already used to, which also means that we can hide the crypto stuff and we can just make sure that people just pay for a job posting that is much cheaper because they don't have to pay for the very high commercial fees, or if you hire a freelancer where you don't have to pay $40 an hour, or where the freelancer is earning a lot more because there's not this 30-40% commission in between. So we to really conclude this, our unique selling point is that within Web3 is that we are not only building this for Web3 companies. Web3 is just one of the industries, but we have 14 other different industries that we service, where we have more than 50 corporates who are willing to use our services that all individually have more than 1,000 employees each. So this kind of puts it into perspective that one company can be bigger than the entire crypto space in open positions as well. So yeah, this is how we differ from companies like Braintrust or Veracity Network, and there's a few more.
Amazing. And really great because you're talking about how, the idea came from, a Web2 problem and also utilizing Web3 rather than just solving a problem in Web3. Now, can you talk a bit about the team, extended team, the partners and backers? And it's a good segue because you talked about some of the big companies also that might be using the platform.
Yeah, sure. So the core team is me and Daniel. Like we are both in the crypto space since 2012. We know each other from our early VeChain days. We were big supporters of the VeChain project because we really liked the logistics case that VeChain presented back then. So we were both building and very involved with the team. So we met each other in San Francisco, Singapore, but he turned out to be living like 30 minutes from my house. And we had a great connection, and he had more than 30 years experience within the like the corporate world, basically, where he worked for a big logistics company. And he kind of knew how the processes within these corporates work, which is really important because like once you get into these companies, you meet with HR, but then you go to IT, you go through risk and compliance, then you get procurement. Like if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, you're going to have a very hard time. So on the IT side, I needed someone who was able to build the product and who's going to feel ownership over that. But the corporate experience that Daniel brought was very important. And also on the development management side, because he was working with a lot of developers remotely across the globe, that it's great to have a remote team, but it also poses challenges to be really productive as a team. And he also had a lot of experience there. So he runs the development team, although I'm also very involved there. Next to us two, we have a third board member, which is Patrick Storchenegger. He's also the legal board member of the Ethereum Foundation, so he brings a great deal of experience there. And our developers are mostly spread across Europe. And yeah, we have about 10 developers in total. So we have a team of about 10, 11 people. And we have a lot of advisors, mostly on the TradFi side as well, who help us getting in touch with all these corporates and organizations to get the traction to our platform.
Awesome. Now, tell us a little bit about the upcoming plans and your roadmap. I mean, we've seen the roadmap previously before now. It's actually quite long from a few years ago. So maybe what's coming in the next few months.
Yeah, so the roadmap that you have seen is more, it's almost more of a look into history as of what we've already done in the last few years. And then you also see that what is upcoming is mostly focused on putting our product in the market. Like in the last few years, so we had this very long period of like an introductory period, I would say, like an exploration phase where we spend the time to learn from companies what their actually challenges are before you start building, to make sure you don't build something that nobody wants or needs. We spend a lot of time on doing proof of concepts and pilots with a few of these organizations. After that, we did our ICO in November 2021. We spent 2 years building through the bear market because we knew historically it's just much better to build through the bear market than to do a lot of marketing and go to market. So we right now have our first version of the platform ready. We already have built our AI assistant, which is fully working. We are able to verify work experience of talents and candidates, which is exciting. And we also have like an MVP of our software as a service solution that we present to enterprise corporates. So when we go to market, our token will be trading, which also means that we are able to implement our dynamic fee model, meaning that based on the cost of the platform, we are able to decide what the fee will be that people need to pay. And they can pay in fiat, but they can pay in tokens, whatever they want. In the background, we are buying back our own token off the market so that people don't have to understand the crypto side if needed. But this is a really important aspect because it basically fuels our entire platform and ecosystem. So that's the first thing that we were going to focus on. The next step is going to be like putting the software as a service solution to the next level. Like we have plans to not only offer our AI assistant for hiring managers. So right now, what they can do is they can create a job posting. They can just mention, I need a marketing manager in this industry, and we present them with suggestions about what skills they need, what characteristics are fitting, what kind of preferences are probably convenient to have. We write paragraphs automatically so that you don't have to write them yourself, and that they're based on the latest research and HR trend reports that you can find on the internet. But we don't want to use it just for the hiring managers. We also want it to serve like a development assistant for talents, where you can mention, like, for example, I want to become this and this. What do I need to do in order to get there? And we provide suggestions for the skills, and we directly make the integration with the development courses as well on platforms like Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning. So the end goal really is to create this highway for work where we don't charge a lot of fees or taxes for people to use that highway. But next to that highway, we also have our software as a service solution that we sell to corporates to get traction and adoption on our platform, to have as many jobs on there as possible, which will also attract talents, because that is the main goal. Every new platform has this chicken egg problem. What comes first? Like demand or supply? In our case, we have a good position to put supply of jobs on there to attract the talents. So if you look at our roadmap, everything what we will do also with, for example, learn to earn NFTs, where people can earn work tokens by developing themselves in areas that our clients would like to see. All the different of these kind of little ideas that we're planning to onboard in the next few months.
Awesome. Great. Now, moving into the tokenomics topic, tell us a bit about the token, work token, its utility, and why the users and I guess businesses should hold it.
Yeah, no, good question and very important. So first of all, how I always look at tokens is I always make the comparison with a festival. Like if you go to a festival and you want to get drinks, you need to buy physical tokens in order to get those drinks, right? So before you enter the festival, you pay for these tokens, and they have a value because if you get thirsty, you will be able to use them. So they represent the value to you. Now, we presented the WorkX token as a access token for services that you can get on our platform. And on our platform, we are offering peer-to-peer services so that you don't pay very high commercial fees to different middlemen. However, you do need to pay for the infrastructure. So you can see it as a tax, basically. Apologies. So you can see it as a tax, but it's a minimal tax just to cover the cost of our infrastructure. And next to that, it's also a way for extensive users to have an influence in our DAO. Because imagine there's a big company who has 3,000 job positions every year. They are using WorkX to fill those positions. It's really important for them that the future of this platform is secured, and that they also have some influence on what kind of features are on there, because it represents a lot of value for them. So if they are owning WorkX tokens that they are using to hire people on the platform, it also grants them voting rights on proposals for development grants, for example. So let's say WorkX would have already existed like 2 years ago, and AI came around the corner. You would bet that there would be one big company who would put a proposal in the DAO, like we need to integrate AI solutions, and that everybody would be voting in favor for them, meaning that we would put a development grant on the platform that any developer across the world can participate in to contribute to our open source code. And they will be able to earn work tokens by contributing, and people who are extracting value of the platform, they are paying work tokens. So long story short, our work token is the fuel of our entire economy, and we make sure that people can easily buy it, sometimes without even noticing, depending on what kind of person you are, because we are looking very closely to the different target audiences and how to approach them.
Amazing. Now, I guess flipping the question, how does the token lead to a generation of revenue for you?
Well, first of all, what's important to mention is that the core goal here is not to optimize profits of stakeholders. Even the equity in WorkX is worthless. It's even mentioned in our documentation of the entire company, in the statutes, basically. So the important thing is that all value will flow back to the token. So for every job posting that is being bought on the platform, a transaction is happening on the blockchain where we buy back our own token off the market to make sure that that there's like a buy transaction corresponding to demand. And what we're basically doing is, in this way, we are getting in money by paying the fees, because we end up with the treasury filled with work tokens. And with those work tokens, we can fund our development program in the DAO with the developers who contribute to those tasks. So basically, the buyback program represents the revenue which is needed to sustain the entire economy. But it's not there to make me rich as a founder, basically. Also, to give you another answer, like what is in it for you? It's a question you have to ask any founder, because there's no such thing as a free lunch. And as great as WorkX is, I think, and what society, what of an impact it could have on society by making sure that fair salaries are being paid and that services become accessible for companies. We as a team, we are incentivized also on the commercial side with our software as a service solution, which is boosting adoption on WorkX. So it's great for WorkX, but at the same time, like if we build a successful highway where a lot of people will make use of, then that little shop next to it, where we just get a few dollars per employee per month, for example. With these companies, this is also bringing in revenue for the team. So in the end, you can also see it as basically like a Red Hat company that Linux was back in that they were for Linux back in the day. Like, we are earning money for pushing the adoption and traction on WorkX, which is a non-profit and decentralized protocol.
Awesome. Great answer. Now, could you tell us a bit about any community-related activities that you have running or you will be running, any campaigns or any testing campaign where users can learn and test the product and also maybe earn some rewards?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, we are doing an IDO with multiple tier 1 launchpads, like with being Pools one of them. And there's also a few other cool ones that that you should definitely check out. We do a lot of marketing together with them. So there's a lot of community activities where you can either interact with our socials, share the word of WorkX, and like, for example, earn some tokens with that. But at the same time, we also are doing our NFT mint. So there's a lot of AMAs every week, and there's going to be multiple in the next 2-3 weeks. So by participating in the AMAs, you are also making a chance to earn a whitelist spot of our NFT mint, which is very interesting because it's a very exclusive collection with only 999 NFTs. And you will have the ability to stake work tokens in your NFT, which allows you to level up your NFT over time. And the higher the level of your NFT, the more work tokens you will earn. So there's this gamified experience of staking your work tokens, which is something that we actively push in our community, and we are very excited about. So make sure you check it out.
Awesome. Now, as you know, the idea on the Pools Launchpad will be on the 1st of December. What are your plans post IDO? If you any information you can share about listing or any particular alpha that you want to share?
Yeah, so we have confirmed our exchange. We cannot share it, of course, because of our NDA. But if I can call it alpha, it's going to be a great exchange. Everybody will know it, and we believe that our community will be very excited when they hear the name. So stay tuned because it will be announced in the following days. Anything else is we have a big marketing campaign that is already starting. I think everybody's kind of seeing our name floating around a bit, but it's just the beginning. So make sure you follow us on all the channels and stay tuned for the campaigns that we have planned.
Awesome. I think your listing date itself is known, though. I think it's 5th of December.
Yes, 5th of December, correct.
Yeah. So thanks for the answer, and this wraps up the Q&A part of the AMA. So thanks for that. Now, as we are reaching the end of the AMA, I would like to give you a couple of minutes if you want to add anything that maybe I haven't asked, any specific questions that you wanted to address, or anything you want to share with the Pools community.
Yeah, well, I'll talk a little bit about one topic that is a very big part of what we do and what I haven't told anything about yet. And I also, like, when people look at our partners and our investors and that we see that we are backed by the European Commission, I often get the question to explain this a bit. So I'll shortly touch it to make sure that it's not just an image with some pictures on there. So we are not really after official partnerships with these big corporates. However, like, when I 7 years ago started, I got the opportunity to speak with C-level directors of all these companies, and what I mostly did is I listened very closely. Just, what are your challenges? Like, what is there something we can do to solve that? And every conversation I had, I kind of fine-tune my proposition and white paper up until there was a moment where these companies said, yes, if you can build this, Rik, we definitely want to buy it. So the years after that, I spent all my time on building exactly what these companies want to see, just to make sure that that fit is there. And over time, these companies saw that I was following up on their advice. So they kind of feel some ownership over it as well. They kind of see, hey, he actually did what we advised him to do. So, and also with many of these companies, personally, even investing into our early investment rounds, we have a very warm relation with many of these companies, which in many cases means a lot more than just a partnership that's in the papers. So yeah, if you see those names, what you are actually seeing is relationships we've nurtured over the years. And after the launch, we will be switching mostly to business development and sales to onboard all these companies and get traction on our platform. So that is one thing. And the second thing is the European Commission, which has invested in a accelerator program, because this started when we won a hackathon in the Netherlands. And the Dutch government really liked our idea of giving career credentials, like data, back to people by linking it to their own self-sovereign identity, which is like your own decentralized or digital passport. And this is just like a public key that you can also use to not only like own money in like crypto, but also you can like have NFTs like credentials, and it can act like a soul-bound NFT where you're not only owning your own money, but also your own data. And in this case, career credentials like your diploma, references, peer reviews, certificates from development courses. So this idea of that people own their own data, they really liked it in the Dutch government. So they introduced this to the Asset Lab. There we were one out of 230 startups that got selected by 28 different governments in Europe. And we had like 5 knockout rounds to continuously show progress, build this solution in real life. And we actually survived every round and ended up as being one of the 5 winners there, which got us more than 100,000 euros in funding, which was nice because it's free money, basically. You don't have to give anything in return for that. But that wasn't the most valuable thing. The most valuable thing is that we are now in direct contact with all those governments and a lot of startups and other companies who are also contributing in this ecosystem. And one of the first use cases that came out of this already is, for example, a collaboration with BC Diploma that have partnerships with over 200 universities worldwide. And if one of those students graduates, they don't just get a physical diploma, they also get like a digital credential, a verifiable credential linked to their decentralized identity. And on WorkX, they can like connect, like you can on Uniswap, for example, and you basically connect with your own identity and you already have your verified diploma in there, which you can use to apply for different jobs. So these are use cases where we give back data to users, which is like essential for what we do, because we don't want to become the next LinkedIn that just steals the data from its users and then monetizes on it behind their backs. So yeah, thank you for that opportunity, and I think this is a nice addition and closing note to this AMA.
Awesome. On behalf of the Pools team and also Pools community, I wish you all the best for the IDO and this thing, and thanks a lot for your time, Rik.
Likewise, pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much.